You've been carrying something heavy, not a problem you can solve, not something anyone else can see. Just this quiet weight, the feeling that you keep running. Most of us know this feeling. We push the hard emotions down. We stay busy so we don't have to sit with the silence. We tell ourselves, I'll rest later. I'll feel better after this next thing. I'll become who I really want to be on the other side of this season. And then life hands us the next season. Buddhism has always understood something modern life keeps forgetting. The outer world doesn't shift until the inner world does. Peace doesn't arrive after the storm passes. Peace is what you build inside yourself so the storm has nothing to hold on to. As the Buddha taught, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. And perhaps more importantly, what you choose to return to again and again becomes the shape of your life. So today, we're not talking about escaping what's difficult. We're talking about something far more powerful. We're talking about returning to yourself. Here are 5 Buddhist teachings that will quietly transform the way you see your mind, your struggles, and the life you're slowly and faithfully building. 1. Your thoughts are not the truth. They are weather. There's a moment most of us know too well. You wake up, and before you've even fully opened your eyes, the mind begins. Did I say the wrong thing yesterday? Am I falling behind where I should be by now? Why does everything feel so heavy this morning? And without realizing it, we make a mistake. We believe it, all of it. We treat the thought like a report, like evidence, like a verdict on who we are and what our life means. And from that moment, the entire day can be shaped by a few seconds of unguarded mental activity. In Buddhist teaching, the mind is often compared to the sky. Thoughts arise and pass like clouds moving across an open expanse. The clouds are real. They're not nothing, but they are not the sky. And you are not your thoughts. This teaching can sound simple until you're lying awake at 2 in the morning and your mind is replaying a conversation from months ago and something in you is absolutely convinced. It reveals something shameful and permanent about who you are. But here's the shift that changes everything. A thought is just a movement of energy. It rises, it passes. It doesn't need your agreement to exist, and it doesn't need your resistance to leave. What keeps it circling, what gives it power, is your attention and the belief you pour into it. The Buddha described this with an image many of us have heard but rarely felt. 2 arrows. The first arrow is the experience itself, the hard moment, the difficult thought, the pain. That arrow is sometimes unavoidable. The second arrow is what we do with it, the story we attach, the judgment we layer on, the belief that this thought proves something terrible about our worth. The second arrow is always optional. When you begin to see your thoughts as weather rather than identity, something changes in how you carry yourself through the day. You stop bracing against every passing cloud. You stop arguing with what your mind produces. You start to feel the sky beneath the movement, the steady, open awareness that was there before the thought arrived and will remain after it passes. The practice isn't to empty your mind. That misunderstanding keeps a lot of people from ever trying. The practice is to notice the thought, name it with gentleness, perhaps something as simple as, there's that worry again, or this is the mind doing what minds do, and let it move through without following it into the story it wants to build. This takes time. It takes returning to the practice on the days when the clouds are thick and low. But with practice, something real emerges, a stability, a ground that the weather can move across without destroying. Whatever your mind is telling you right now about who you are, what you failed at, what might go wrong, you don't have to believe it. You can watch it. And in the watching, you remember the most essential truth. You are not the storm. You are what remains when the storm passes through. Your thoughts shape your inner world, but your inner world shapes your reality, and you are the one who chooses what lives there. 2. The pain you keep avoiding is the doorway you've been searching for. Avoidance feels like relief. It's worth saying that honestly, because if it didn't feel like relief, we wouldn't do it. Scroll past the difficult feeling. Fill the quiet with noise. Keep moving fast enough that the grief can't quite catch you. Stay in your head so you don't have to drop into your heart. And it works for a little while. Buddhism speaks directly to this with the concept of dukkha, often translated as suffering, though a more honest translation might be the persistent unsatisfactoriness that follows us from moment to moment, from situation to situation, even when nothing is objectively wrong. This undercurrent runs beneath the surface of daily life. This isn't a flaw in you. Buddhism says this is the natural consequence of a life organized around avoidance. We run from what's uncomfortable and spend enormous energy maintaining the running. And the thing we're running from grows heavier the longer we carry it without looking at it. The practice Buddhism offers here is not dramatic. It's not about forcing yourself to feel everything at once or excavating old pain without support. It's something gentler and more sustainable than that. It's the practice of turning toward what's uncomfortable just slightly. Not diving in, not fixing it tonight, just letting yourself acknowledge, this is here. I've been carrying this. I can feel this. Think about something you've been stepping around lately. Not a catastrophe, just something quiet and persistent. A conversation you've been putting off. A feeling you keep pushing back down. A truth about your life that you sense, but haven't been willing to look at directly. Now imagine turning toward it just a few degrees. Just enough to say, I see you. I know you're here. In Buddhist practice, this simple turning toward is the beginning of what teachers call liberation. Because the thing we avoid doesn't disappear when we ignore it. It doesn't weaken with distance. It shapes our choices from behind the scenes, becoming the invisible weight that makes everything else feel harder than it needs to be. The thing that keeps us from resting even when we're exhausted. But when you turn toward difficulty with kindness, when you stop treating your own pain as an enemy, and start treating it as something that simply needs your honest, gentle attention, the weight begins to move. Not all at once, not without grief, but it moves. You don't need to have any of it figured out. You don't need a plan or a resolution or an answer. You just need the willingness to be present with what is, and to let that presence be enough for right now. That willingness is not weakness. In Buddhist teaching, it is the precise definition of courage. There's something else worth saying here. When you begin to face what you've been avoiding, it won't always feel like relief immediately. Sometimes it feels like grief. Sometimes it feels like the thing you were afraid of was exactly as real as you feared. And that's okay. Buddhism doesn't promise that turning toward pain makes it disappear. It promises something more useful. It promises that the pain becomes workable, something you can move through, instead of something you carry indefinitely. The difference between those two things is the difference between a life that is slowly being lived and a life that is slowly being managed from a distance. 3. Compassion for yourself is not something you earn. It is the practice itself. There's a voice most of us live with so constantly, we've stopped noticing it's optional. You should have known better. Why are you still struggling with this? Other people handle this fine. What's wrong with you? This voice can sound like high standards. It can sound like discipline or self-awareness or the honest appraisal of someone who holds themselves accountable. But Buddhism draws a careful line between genuine discernment and simple cruelty. And that voice, for most of us, most of the time, is cruelty dressed in the language of self-improvement. The Buddha taught metta, loving kindness, as one of the 4 foundations of a life worth living. And the part that gets most consistently overlooked is this. Metta begins with yourself, not after you've earned it through enough growth or healing, not once you've improved to some acceptable threshold. Right now, exactly as you are, with all the ways you've fallen short, all the places you're still figuring it out, all the parts you wish were different. This is not about lowering your standards or abandoning accountability. You can hold yourself to high standards and still speak to yourself with genuine kindness. In fact, the deeper you go into Buddhist teaching, the more obvious it becomes. Self-compassion doesn't make people complacent. It gives people the emotional safety to actually grow. Think about the last mistake you're still carrying, the kind that surfaces at unexpected moments. Something you said, a choice you made, a moment you'd take back if you could. Now ask yourself honestly, has all the self-criticism you've aimed at that memory actually helped you become better? Or has it mostly kept you circling in a loop of shame that makes you want to hide from yourself? Here is a practice from the Buddhist tradition you can return to whenever the inner critic grows loud. Place one hand on your chest, over your heart. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Notice the rise and fall of your breath, and say these words, not because they're easy to believe yet, but because they are true. I am doing the best I can with what I know. I am allowed to be a work in progress. I deserve my own kindness. Say it again more slowly. Feel the weight of it settling. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is not pretending the mistakes didn't happen. This is the ground, the only ground from which genuine change grows. Because every version of you capable of real transformation, real connection, real peace, that version emerges from a place of internal safety, not from a place of internal war. You can't shame yourself into becoming someone you're proud of, but you can love yourself patiently, honestly, faithfully, in the direction of who you want to be. This is the heart of mindfulness, not the absence of difficulty, the presence of care. Begin that. Let kindness be the soil. Let that be enough for today. 4. What you're searching for is not ahead of you. It was never missing. We live in a world that is extraordinarily skilled at convincing us we're not quite enough yet. One more achievement, one more recognition, one more milestone cleared, and then finally, we'll feel whole. We'll feel like we've arrived. We'll feel the peace we've been working toward. And Buddhism looks at this with deep, patient compassion and says, this is the oldest misdirection in human experience. In Buddhist philosophy, there is a teaching about what some traditions call Buddha nature, the understanding that within every person, beneath every layer of fear, conditioning, self-doubt, and accumulated habit, there is an innate, wholeness, a fundamental okayness that was never actually missing. It was only obscured by the noise of craving and the habit of looking outward for what has always lived inward. The image that brings this to life is the moon, reflected on the surface of a still lake. The reflection is perfect and complete, but when the water is disturbed, the reflection scatters. It breaks apart and becomes unrecognizable, and we look at the broken surface and believe the moon itself must be shattered. We panic. We search for the missing pieces. We try to gather the scattered light. But the moon was never broken. Only the surface was disturbed. Your sense of not enoughness, that hollow, searching feeling that follows you from one season of life to the next, is not evidence of a fundamental deficit. It is the disturbed surface. And the real work, the work that actually changes things, is not adding more to yourself. It is quieting the surface enough to see what was always there. When that hollow feeling arrives, when you catch yourself thinking, if I just had that, or if I could finally become that version of myself, try this. Stop. Take one conscious breath and ask yourself honestly, right now, in this actual moment, not in the story about what's missing. What do I actually have? Not what you've lost. Not what hasn't arrived yet. What is present? What is real? What is here? Maybe it's the fact that you've navigated every difficult day up until this one, and you're still here. Maybe it's a relationship that has shown you genuine care. Maybe it's a quality in yourself you've never stopped to acknowledge. The steadiness that surfaces in a crisis. The creativity that emerges when you stop forcing it. The compassion you extend to others even on your hardest days. This isn't denial. This isn't pretending life is perfect or that nothing needs to change. This is the Buddhist practice of returning to what is real, instead of living inside the story of what's lacking. When you do this honestly and consistently, something genuinely shifts. You stop treating completion as a destination somewhere ahead of you. You start inhabiting your life as it actually is. Here, now, with all its imperfection and its unexpected, overlooked beauty. And from that ground, from genuine presence in what is already real. Everything you build has a different quality. It's built on something solid. There's a simple practice that can anchor this each morning. Before you check your phone, before you carry yesterday's concerns into a new day, sit for just a few quiet minutes and ask yourself one honest question. What is one thing that is already whole in me right now? Not what needs fixing, not what's still missing, what is already genuinely here. Wisdom isn't usually loud. It arrives in these quiet pauses. The answers may change from day to day. Some mornings they're harder to find, but the habit of looking, turning toward what is present rather than what is absent, rewires something important over time. It trains the mind to recognize sufficiency. And once the mind learns to see it, it becomes harder to unsee. The searching quiets. The grasping loosens. The life you already have begins to come into focus with more clarity and more gratitude than you thought possible. 5. The most powerful thing you can offer the world is your own inner peace. This might be the most surprising one, because when we think about contribution, about showing up meaningfully for for the people we love. We usually think about doing more, being more present, more helpful, more available. We think the gift we have to offer is something we produce or perform, but Buddhism points to something counterintuitive and quietly radical. The greatest gift you can give the people in your life is your own genuine inner stability, your presence, your peace. Not because it's impressive, because it's real. And real things are what people actually need. Think about someone who has genuinely helped you through something difficult. Not necessarily the person with the most advice or the polished answers. Think about the person who, when you were in the middle of something hard, was simply calm, simply there, whose steadiness made you feel, without a single word, that things were going to be okay. What they offered wasn't information, it was a state. Their peace became a resource for you. Their groundedness gave you something to orient toward when your own footing was uncertain. This is what Buddhist teaching points to, the way our inner lives ripple outward, not through grand gestures, through the texture of everyday presence, the tone you carry into a difficult conversation, the quality of attention you bring when someone needs to be heard, the choice to breathe before responding instead of reacting from the first thing that rises. When you do the real inner work, when you practice watching your thoughts without being swept away, when you turn toward your discomfort with honesty instead of avoidance, when you speak to yourself with genuine kindness, when you return again and again to what is actually here, you become, without effort and without announcement, a source of calm for the people around you. Your children feel it. Your relationships begin to organize around it. The energy you carry into a room before you've said a single word starts to matter in ways you may not fully see. This isn't about performing serenity you don't feel. It's about doing the actual work of returning to yourself and understanding that this returning, this faithful daily practice is not just personal. It is a contribution. Every time you choose awareness over reactivity, every time you bring genuine presence instead of distracted performance, every act of honest kindness toward yourself and others. These are not small things. They change the quality of life for everyone you touch. They pass something forward with real and lasting value. The Buddhist image for this is the lamp, not a lamp that forces its light on everything around it. A lamp that simply burns clearly, honestly, fully, and anyone who needs light finds their way toward it. So begin there, not with the question of how to change the world, but with the quieter, more demanding question. How do I come home to myself? Because when you are genuinely home, grounded in awareness, presence, and kindness, everything that truly matters has a way of following. And don't underestimate what this quiet, faithful practice does to you over time. Every time you choose to return to yourself instead of react, every time you bring real awareness into a moment, instead of moving through it on autopilot, you strengthen something. Call it character. Call it the mind's capacity for stillness. Buddhism calls it the cultivation of an awakened heart. Whatever name you use, it's real. It compounds. And the person you are slowly becoming through this practice is someone whose peace is genuinely their own, not borrowed from good circumstances, not dependent on the right conditions arriving. Yours, rooted in something no external event can fully reach. Here is where we've traveled together today. Your thoughts are weather, not identity. You don't have to believe every cloud that passes through. The pain you've been avoiding is waiting to become a doorway. Turning toward it with gentleness is the most honest form of courage. Self-compassion is not a reward for being good enough. It is the ground where genuine growth becomes possible. What you've been searching for was never missing. It was only obscured. The quieter the surface, the clearer the reflection. And your peace is not just for you. It is the most honest and lasting gift you can bring to the people and the world around you. None of this happens in a single afternoon. Buddhism has always known this. The lotus rises slowly and steadily from the mud. It doesn't force the process. It doesn't rush toward the light. It rises faithfully, one quiet day at a time. What matters is not that you master all of this right now. What matters is that you keep returning to awareness, to kindness, to the truth of what is already here, to yourself. That returning, that small and faithful act of coming back again and again, that is the whole practice. And that practice, held with patience and consistency, changes everything it touches. If these teachings resonated with something real in you, consider subscribing to this channel. Every week, more reflections like this. Teachings that go deeper than surface level advice and remind you that the peace you're looking for has always been closer than you think.